Introduction. The other day I was sitting in the park watching children play with each other. I was shocked at the alarming amount of disrespect that I saw occurring between the children. I was further alarmed when I saw the disrespect from the children towards their parents. Later that evening, as I was flipping through the television channels, I came to the conclusion that there is a serious problem in society today. Bad behavior is exalted and rudeness is laughed at, while good behavior is often mocked and made to seem weak. This trend needs to be changed. And the truth of the matter is that this change needs to begin in the home. Children need to be taught good behavior, and parents need to commit themselves to instructing their children. By doing this, parents will not only help their children succeed in life, but also may help change the tide of the culture. A brief history of child rearing. In the early ages, there was not as much of a focus on the emotional impact of parenting techniques on children as there is now. There was a simple understanding that children who were disciplined grew into responsible and productive adults, while children who were not disciplined or left to their own devices grew into fools. In the late 18th century, psychologists began studying the mind of children, and society became more aware of the emotional and spiritual needs of children. While parents were still focused on raising well-behaved children, with respect a top priority, more of an emphasis was placed on compassion as well. In the late 20th century, the mindset of parents largely began to change. Although they wanted to make sure their children were not out of control, there was a major emphasis to not crush the spirit of children and to allow for creative expression. Although these are healthy concepts, when taken to the extreme, they can actually do more harm than good. Children are left without boundaries or guides and do not learn appropriate behaviors. In the push for creative and expressive children, the idea of respect has largely been lost. The concept of respect in the 21st century. Unfortunately, the concept of respect in the 21st century is sometimes seen as out of date, old-fashioned, and in some circles, backwards. Society has placed a large emphasis on pleasure and seeking to serve yourself before anyone else. Children are being taught to look out for themselves, get what they want, and live for the right now. Television shows feature children speaking disrespectfully to adults. In television and movies geared for children, adults are often portrayed as fools who need to learn a lesson from youth. Although it is good to encourage children to speak up and assert themselves, they need to also be taught to do so in a respectful manner. If children are going to be allowed to express themselves as adults, they need to also be taught to behave as adults. The importance of raising a respectful child. Although my ideas are often seen as old-fashioned and have been frequently mocked even by people within my extended family, I firmly believe that raising a respectful child is of utmost importance. Children who are raised to respect authority will do better in school, gain confidence, and will excel in the workplace. Having worked as a classroom teacher, I have seen the impact that respectfulness can have on a child's educational performance. Students who were well behaved in the classroom excelled, while students who behaved poorly struggled. This had nothing to do with intelligence or aptitude, and there was a very simple explanation. As a teacher, I could spend more time addressing academic issues when I was not having to correct behavioral issues. Children who are taught to be respectful largely have more confidence than those who are allowed to disrespect others. I work hard to teach my children to be respectful, and in turn, I have children who are generally nice and pleasant to be around. They are accepted in a variety of social circles, can carry on conversations with children and adults, and are gladly welcomed by people. When children know that people like and accept them, it gives them confidence. My hope for my children is that by teaching them to be respectful at an early age, they will excel when they graduate from college and enter the workforce. They will respect their bosses, work hard, and will in turn be rewarded for their hard work. A brief overview of the book layout. This book has been divided into chapters that each focus on a different area of respect children need to be taught.